I just feel like he really rubbed me the wrong way when he asked for a discount when we'd already decided on prices. He'd already said that he wanted to study twice a week. We'd already decided on what to study. And then after the trial class, I kind of said like, okay, it sounds like you want to do business English. It sounds like you want this. And he was just like, you decide. And I'm like, well, that's not teaching. That, like, he doesn't know what to study. Like, that's what I mean. Like,
yeah,
I don't think I should have to chase him. And from past talks we've had and the whole thing saying no and all that, I've been down this road before where I've messaged people and I've tried to push them, and it's a waste of time in that aspect. Like, if it's losing money at the end of the day for someone who's going to be annoying to me and waste my time, then yeah, I'm learning as I go, kind of thing. So
yeah, no, I agree. I think I mean, one of the things that we learn as we go through this is to some extent, we're choosing our own students. It's not just them choosing us, but we want to be able to choose ours, because that's the whole point, really, is I want to work with people who want to work with me, that we connect well with, that I really feel like the way that I teach and what I want to teach, matches up with what they want to learn, because that's best for both of us. And so if it's not a match for whatever reason, and there's no judgment, certainly none from me.
I'm learning, and I've been down the road before, and this time I got a little bit further down the road, but I feel like it's the same destination as the time wasters before.
The question is, how do you leave it? Because I agree, you don't want to keep.
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah.
I mean, the thing you want to maintain, of course, is a kind of a professional atmosphere around your communication and what you're doing. So how do you plan to leave this with him? I mean, obviously you're gonna put the ball squarely in his court and say,
I'm probably gonna message him back with my link to book classes, and probably see what happens, I guess, but not expect anything. My question to you is, how much responsibility is it for the teacher to figure out how the students can pay? Or should it be their responsibility to figure out them? If I give them an option, like, for example, I say, okay, I've got PayPal, I've got TransferWise, I've got Stripe, and I have a Korean bank account if you can pay into the Korean bank account, or my English bank account. They're the options. Is it their responsibility to figure out the rest, or is it my responsibility to figure out the rest?
That it's not like I had the same case that now you have, but in my opinion, if someone wants to learn and you provide him or her with options, more than one, or even it doesn't matter, the numbers really doesn't matter, but if you can see that he is actively or she actively engaging and trying to find the solution, that there is the energy that he wants it. If he doesn't want it, then there'll always be a problem with this, with that, the discount, the payment, and basically you do everything. He wants you to do everything, also the learning, by the way, and he always has all the problems in the world.
It sends the wrong message, right?
It's not going to stop.
Yeah.
It's not going to stop. This is the attitude. Yeah. And I had mine as well, not with the payment, but I also felt it. The beginning, I already felt it's not going to work out. But to be honest, I was already in a coaching process with Juji, and I felt like I'm interested in how it will go along. And right after this lesson, he also had a trial lesson, and how he started to communicate with me, even with emailing and everything, I felt like, okay, this is the line that I want to draw. And I wrote quite a polite email that I feel like it's not going to work out. I sent him away, basically, with positive feelings that I didn't want to start that greedy part, but I feel like, oh, this student, and I don't want to do, but should I work with it? Giving me all the bad emotions that I don't want to have. I don't want them. He doesn't want them. I mean, maybe he wants, but that's his part.
Yeah.
That's his problem, because I think he wanted it. He was always trying to find a conflict, seriously, even within the talking points. He was a lawyer, but yeah, whatever. And I had to learn that my learning curve was that finally I realized the situation, and I realized that it's not for me, and I have to say no, because I want to control. I am in charge of my work, and if I feel like it's not the one, then it's not the one. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. I also had to learn it, and it was so hard, even though I knew at that time clearly that I didn't want to work with him. It was so hard to write down that email because I was sending away a student when I didn't really have a lot at that time. But after that, I was like, whoa, life is so much easier now. So I can focus on the rest. And it's quite similar.
Yeah, hearing it's really helpful. But I would say in my head already that I've decided I'm probably not going to work with him. It's good to hear like what could happen or what should happen, or like it's nice to hear that. Yeah.
I think that's exactly where you're at, and that's why I wanted to come back to it, because you don't want this kind of thing just lingering and hanging on. You have to make a decision, like Sophia said. You draw a line and you say, okay, I have these ways of accepting payment, and if you can find a way that works better for you, then let me know, and I'm still available. Or you sort of frame it in a way that makes it clear that the effort has to come from him. You could say, I think you should find somebody else in a nice way, or you could leave the door open. That's up to you, really. You know what you're going to decide. You know what you actually want to say to him. The quicker you say it, the better.
Appreciate both your viewpoints. Yeah.